everyone, welcome back to Input, man. What are we looking at today, man? We're going to take a look at Kingdom Legacy Blaster. Why is it Kingdom and Legacy? Because he got released in both lines. But this is a Legacy version, and guess what? There's no difference between them. So let's dig into this sucker. Honest opinion right out of the gate, love it. It's that simple. But let's take a deeper dive into everything. And right off the bat, I'm going to take a look here at eject because he's being ejected from the chest of Blaster. I don't know why I said it that way. So anyway, so here we go. We've got a clear Energon blue eject. I think the paint detail is really cool on him. I think the articulation is done really, really well. And I think overall, genuinely, it's a decent little figure. Again, I don't like how it's all clear plastic, man. And I don't like how tight his arms are. Because if you look in there, the peg is actually clear plastic as well. So, I mean, over time, constant use, this is going to snap super, super easy. And unfortunately, you can't really take him apart. I mean, I guess you could, but he's really difficult to take apart to kind of free up the tightness on the shoulders. So, I mean, I really wish that this was done with a screw instead of a pin, so that way we'd be able to loosen up the back just a little bit to keep the arms not loose, but not as tight as this. Now, this might just be my copy of the figure. I don't know. I hope it is, and I hope that your guys' eject their arms isn't as tight. So, but yeah, overall, I do enjoy this guy. I do think he's really, really cool. And of course, he does fit in Blaster's chest right there. So you can have him do the whole eject thing. So, but let's take a look into Blaster himself. And yeah, man, I gotta say right off the bat, I'm super impressed with this guy. I really am. Again, this is, like I said, in Legacy Prime. My Legacy Prime review. This is Hasbro, man, at the top of their game. And this is what we need more of, man. You know, so definitely 100% in love with this guy. The mechanism does work. You don't press it down, you press it in. That might be a little off-putting or confusing for people who might just end up, or who might just get him. That, like I said, you press it in, not down. Because traditionally, you press it down. And for the longest time, I was pressing it down and it was popping out. But I noticed that I was doing it wrong, and you just, like I said, press it in. Also, the inside of this piece is not 100% clear plastic. Now, the clear plastic piece right here is hinged, but it is reinforced with the solid red plastic. So this whole piece right here is done in a red plastic and then painted yellow, and then this clear piece is a separate piece. But like I said, it is hinged, and you guys can probably see the clear plastic that's hinged right here. I don't think it's too big of a concern because it is all reinforced, and if it does break, the clear plastic does break, I don't think you'd be losing the ability to open and close this guy, because the solid plastic is actually still connected to the pin. I don't know, only time will tell, but I don't really see the clear plastic in this being too much of an issue. Another thing that I like about this guy is the 5mm pegs all over the place on his back. You can put the gun here, 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 pretty much wherever you want to. And what I like about this is, like, it reminds me of like an older soldier that would have the gun kind of slung over his shoulder and there'd be like a rope or something kind of tied to it. I think it's really cool. Also, the hand being, it's got the eject finger, which I guess at this point is now a must for Blaster and Soundwave. But yeah, man, overall, I don't really have anything bad to say about his bot mode. And truth be told, I really wasn't going to get this guy, but then I saw him in Target, and the reason why I wasn't going to get him is because I have the sound mixer, the Unique Toy sound mixer, so I really wasn't going to get this guy, so I had a Chug Scale Blaster is what I'm saying. But I saw this guy in store, and I was like, man, this is a completely different figure. It really is, and it's on two different levels. And honestly, I now understand what Gotbot was saying when he talked about how Unique Toys is such a great Galvatron, but then he got Galvatron and the new Galvatron, and he liked both of them so much that he decided to keep both of them, that kind of thing. I now understand what he's saying with that, because this is a different figure altogether. You know, it's a different representation. It feels different. It looks different. And it's the same scale. So I think, yeah, overall, I'm going to keep both of them because they both accomplish two different things. Now, nitpick-wise, he doesn't have any wrist articulation here, which I think is a step back, but you can still get the pose if you just snap that elbow joint like that, and you can still get that pose. So not necessarily a huge issue not to have wrist articulation, but I think it would have been extremely nice to have it, to really have that wrist articulation. Now, if you guys really wanted to add wrist articulation, it's not too hard, too difficult. You just cut this piece off, put a pin all the way through it, and connect it to the fist, and then you would have wrist rotation there. But I don't think we have pins just lying around to do that kind of stuff with. Yeah, like I said, man, there's not a whole lot bad here to say. I do think that the thighs should have been filled in. Really don't think there's an excuse for that. But other than that, not that big of a deal. And I like this on the side. Traditionally, these kind of sit in on the G1 Blaster figure. They sit into the leg, but I like them out on the side. I don't know, man. It just gives him a much different silhouette, if that makes sense. Well, I mean, that's bot mode. Let's dive into cassette deck Ghetto Blaster mode. Before we move on to the cassette deck mode, let's see if Ravage can change sides. Can Ravage become an Autobot? Oh, barely. Does he? Yes! Ravage can become an Autobot. You can fit the Decepticon tapes inside of Blaster. Ravage here is a bit of a tight, snug fit, but it is 100% doable. So, there you go. So, if this guy fits into Blaster, you know this guy fits into the Soundwave. And how does he stack up against Soundwave? Speaking of, he stacks up pretty good, I think. Now, this is Siege Soundwave, so this one is a little bit taller. Blaster is a little bit taller than Soundwave. Really not that big of a difference. I do think it works really, really well. Now, he is a little bit broader than Soundwave as well. So there you go. There's a good look at their size difference. I don't have the Netflix one, the Netflix Soundwave, so I couldn't tell you if they're the same size or anything. But I don't think they are. I think they're the same size. The two Soundwaves are the same size. So there you go. There's your size comparison with Soundwave. Wowie zowie! One in alt mode! Diary of a Wimpy Kid, guys. Watch it if you haven't watched it. Jesus. I can't believe I just made that reference. Anyway, as you guys can see, here is his cassette deck player, his Ghetto Blaster, in all of the glory that is this alt mode. This is a fantastic alt mode. Awesome rendition of the G1 character. Something that I have seen a lot of people get, I don't want to say wrong or whatever, or mistransform the side speakers. So these end up becoming the speakers on the leg in robot mode. You got to flip these around because these are the speakers in its alt mode. I mean, you don't have to. If you wanted to add some bass boost, you 90s kids know what I'm talking about when I say bass boost. If you wanted to add some bass boost or something, I guess you could keep that flipped around. But no big deal. Everything still functions. Cassette deck mode still functions. everything else. You have your volume button. You've got your radio tuning button. What else you got on here? You got your play, your pause, your stop. You got your bass boost. Whatever else, whatever other dials or doodads that could be on here. Probably your bass boost, your bass, and your treble. So you got your mid, your highs, and all that stuff on here as well. There's a lot of attention to detail on this, and it's a lot of attention to great detail. So it's just, like I said, an auxiliary jack, for your headphones. What is that, 5mm? You know what I'm saying? Like, you old school music nerds, what I'm talking about when I say 5mm headphone jack. So, yeah, there's just so much love and attention on the front face of this guy. They just really, really, man, they crushed it. They knocked it out of the park. I will say during transformation, the arms can be somewhat finicky in the sense that when you bring the legs up, you have to have the arms in the 100% correct and 100% perfectly aligned with the legs. Otherwise, the legs don't operate the way that they should. They don't fully close. Something to be not wary of, but mindful of when you're transforming is that you probably do have it. You're in the right direction, but you're not 100% lined up, and you have to be 100% lined up in order to transform this guy. Tolerances are very, very tight here during transformation. So, yeah, but other than that, I mean, that's not even really a negative. It's just a heads up for you guys, And you do have a weapon storage wherever you guys want to put it, but the directions say you do plug it into this peg right back here, and there is a peg hole on the gun right there, like a little peg slot hole on either side, and you just line it up like so. Like off-camera input, I know input. You just line it up off like so, and whatever. I'm just going to put it on there like that. So, there you go. Instructions say you can set it like that, but I can't get it to work. So, anyway, doesn't really matter. There it is. There's Blaster, man. Let's move on to final thoughts. All right, everyone, time for final thoughts, man. You guys know how this goes. I honestly, man, this figure just blows me away. It really does. This figure is up there with Laser Optimus Prime, Legacy Optimus Prime for me, and it's just done so well. It's such a great attention to detail. It's such a attention getter. Honestly, I can't wait to get the Shattered Glass figure of this. I can't wait to get the rumored twin cast figure of this, if that happens. Although I'm pretty sure it will. I do, aside from all the little nitpicky stuff, man, that's just me, Like, but it's stuff that I can look past, like the wrist not being articulated, right? The back of the thighs being hollow. It's just, I mean, it doesn't matter. It's like this figure accomplishes so much in such a little thing. Now, I do say, I wish... Well, I don't say I wish. Let me ask you guys this question. Leave your comment about it down below. Would you guys have paid $50 for this figure if he came with, like, 4 more cassettes? Or 3 more or something like that? Would you guys have paid $50 for him? I know I would have. Truthfully, that's how good I feel like the figure is. So, as always, I'll see you guys next video. I love you guys out there. Stay safe, most important thing. And as always, cut it out. Later, guys.